Welcome back to another episode of the Zuriel Show. This is episode 17 featuring Hope. Hope, introduce yourself to the people who you are, and simply what you do.
Great. Thank you, Emmanuel. I'm glad to be here. My name is Hope Muturi. I
Yeah,
am a strategic communication specialist and I'm
yeah,
also a training manager. I am especially passionate about TVET. TVET is technical and vocational education and training. So I am also a TVET consultant. And besides work, yes, this is something that makes people get a bit shocked, but I'm also a mother of three. Yeah, so that's besides work. Yes.
lovely, lovely. Now, let me know what got you started, because a lot of my viewers and audience are mostly on the younger side. Take me through your career. What got you started? What got you inspired in terms of what you do? Yeah, take us to your journey.
Great. So I think I've kind of ran through my life, because I'm 29 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, and how did I start? I think after high school, I realized I'm very passionate about drama and communications. So
Mm,
immediately after high school, I was privileged to get a scholarship in the TVET space. When I say TVET, it's technical and vocational education and training. So I
yes.
got a scholarship because I succeeded in the drama festivals when I was in high school, and the scholarship
Congratulations.
entailed, thank you. The scholarship entailed studying two diplomas in broadcast journalism and another diploma in performing arts and music production. So that's what I did for about 2 years. Then now I ventured into the media production space. And you asked me what inspired me is that definitely I was passionate about the arts, communication, and
Yeah.
that's why I ventured into that space. So I ventured into the media production space for about 6 years. It wasn't easy, especially in the beginning. I
Mm,
think
mm,
we'll
mm.
continue debunking that.
Yeah.
But for 6 years, I did media production. I produced and coordinated. I began as a production assistant, but then I grew being a production coordinator, production manager. I produced shows for NTV, Mnet, some dubbing stuff for Star Times. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was in that for 6 years before now I transitioned in my career. So I think I'll hand it over back to you because that's quite a long story.
No, no, no. It's very, very insightful as well. I'd like to know
Yes.
what has been the most challenging aspect of your career that, or most challenging hurdle that you've had to overcome that you feel has been the most rewarding in the process?
Great. So not one. May I mention three?
As many as you can.
Yeah, so I think the first one I'll mention is when I was now venturing into career. Now, when I was in college, there was that season for now getting the internship.
Yes.
And when it was quite challenging because we were given like about 6 months to get an internship, and I really tried hard to get an internship. I would go to the cyber every day, and my parents don't have a lot of money. They'd really struggle to give you that 100 shillings to go to the cyber.
Mm, mm.
But I'd go to the cyber every day, and for months I sent applications over applications. Okay, it was about 10 years ago. I didn't have a laptop, so I used to go to the cyber, and I'd get into the cyber from morning till evening, until the cyber guy was like, since you're not getting a job, I can look for you a job for you to be an air hostess. Just he really pitied me. So
Mm.
that was the toughest, when I really wanted to get an internship, but I was not getting. I
Yeah.
made over 90 applications. Over 90
Wow.
applications. I got only one
Yeah.
response
Wow.
from a lady who said there is no opportunity. And then after I realized the online applications are not working, I chose to tarmac. As in, I don't know if you guys understand the real meaning of tarmacking, but
Maybe you
tarmacking
can.
is,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, tarmacking is now like physically looking for a job. It used to happen before, whereby people would physically hand over applications to offices, which right now definitely doesn't happen a lot because of the online
Mm.
platforms.
Yes.
But then, so I resorted to tarmacking, and it's called tarmacking because, your shoes on the tarmac, like you're walking and walking and walking.
Right.
So I tarmacked for for several weeks, and it was really bad. As in, guys, I didn't have money for transport. So I remember there's a time I walked from town to Kibera because there was a film production company that was in Kibera. I walked for after some days, the soles of my shoes were done. They were over. Yani, my favorite shoes, that's how they became, yani, I couldn't wear them anymore. The sole got finished, like, flat. Yeah, there's a time I walked until I got rained on. But I became dry because of walking for hours. Yeah. But then, and when I got to those offices, I remember 2 offices that I got to, and the ladies were very, very rude. They were like, "What have you come here for? We did not call you." And the other one was like, "No, we don't accept interns." And I'd really walked for many kilometers. So that was my hardest. And I went back to college.
Yeah.
And my classmates had gotten internships and were flossing. I got an internship at Churchill Show, another one from Ghetto Radio, and I hadn't. I was like, no one is willing to give me work for free.
Yes.
So that was my hardest. My second hardest was now my career transition after 6 years in media production, and I did well. I went up the ranks. I did amazing shows, but then I really felt I needed to transition because I felt I'm more passionate about people development, and also I needed something that's more family friendly. Honestly, media production can really get crazy. So now the transition, and I had grown to a place where I was getting a 5-figure salary, and I was to that level of a 5-figure salary, and it was hard to drop that and begin a career all over. So that a different career all over again, which meant kind of starting from a lower level. So that was the second hardest. And the third hardest is actually this season, the COVID season, since I'm in the training space, and the trainings have been physical. So the past few months have been tough, but it's getting better. And I've learned to survive on minimal income as things open up more. So yeah, basically.
Oh, very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. I'm sure lots of people that will hear that aspect of you going out and really pushing yourself to the limit in terms of getting what you want. A lot of people will relate with that side of your story, more so as they're picking up and developing themselves as they go throughout the years. I'd just like to know what kept you going, because I know a lot of people would feel, you know what, I've tried everything. Personally, I feel someone would be 20 applications in and would say, you know what, maybe this is not for me. What kept you there? What kept you pushing to keep going to reach all the way until 90 and still keep pushing to go for the continuous applications for different positions?
Wow, definitely the first thing, I'm a Christian, so I'll say, I think really God really carried me through that season, and also passion. I think when you develop more resilience when you're passionate about something, when you keep on fighting and fighting and fighting to get where you want, or pushing to get where you want. So I think the two, the God factor and passion. And honestly, Emmanuel, let me mention something about our generation. Depending on the listeners, we millennials, if you're 23 to 38, you're a millennial. And if you're 22 and below, you're in Gen Z. And honestly, I think for millennials and Generation Z, one thing that we lack, honestly, is resilience and grit. Which, as you're saying, I think you've said something very spot on. Many youths, they really give up when things become tougher, and we give up very, very easily. And I think it's something that we've not learned from our parents, who have a lot of resilience. So I think, and anyone, it doesn't matter your personality, it doesn't matter the background that you come from. Anyone can develop grit and resilience. These are two characters that even research has proven that anyone can develop them. And when I mention grit and resilience, what is grit? What is resilience? So grit is having that consistent effort toward a goal, even when you struggle. The consistent effort toward a goal, even when you struggle or fail. When resilience now is our ability to bounce back after we have struggled or failed. Resilience now is our ability to bounce back after we have struggled or failed. And these are characters that can be developed. And I think also for me, how I've tried to develop, let me change the gear a bit. Like for this season, honestly, I think I saw you liking something I updated on LinkedIn about something that I studied. Yeah, it's a video, Resilience by Sheryl Sandberg, who is the COO, Chief Operating Officer, I think, for Facebook.
Yeah.
That is one of the ways that you can develop resilience, like learning what is resilience, watching videos on resilience, and also listening to feedback. When people tell you, and really, who are your friends? If your friends tell you the job is hard, get out, are those true friends? Do you have mentors who tell you, by the way, you need to strengthen your resilience, you need to strengthen your grit? So all of us can develop our resilience. So I think so that adds to my list the God factor, the passion factor, and resilience that we can all develop.
Wow, very, very well put. And I'd like to say, just to touch or just to wrap that up, I really like that you focus on resilience, mainly, and of course, God first. That's also very important at the end of the day. But resilience also being a differentiating factor, because in everything you do, resilience cannot be substituted. You can have the best, you can be the best at what you do, but if you are ready to give in and give up when the times come, that is will be something that someone who even has less talent than you will be able to outwork you, will be able to do much more than you, and will be able to get those positions that you, quote unquote, believe that you deserve. But due to not having that one major, what I'd consider major aspect that you possess, resilience, you'll miss out quite a lot in what you are supposed to deserve in life. So thank you for that. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah,
so,
very
moving
true.
on.
And to add on that before we
Yes,
go
go on,
on,
please.
and I
Yes.
think the thing about resilience is sticking it through. And when I talk about sticking it through, I mean, like many youths, we tend to job hop a lot. Like can't even stay at a place for 1 year. 2 years, 3 years. Like I applaud you, Emmanuel. I think I looked at your profile and you've been at Zuriel, or you've led Zuriel for 3 years. That's something rare in this generation. I remember a friend of mine who is around 25 years old. She has been she's been working for for a company for 5 years, and it's just recently that she got another bigger job. Recruiters actually realize, and she was able to get that opportunity as well, because the recruiter realized this is someone who can actually stay with us for years, because companies know that they lose a lot of money when people keep on leaving the company, because it takes a lot to induct, to train someone. It takes a lot. So for you need to show the resilience by sticking it through. When you get an opportunity, no opportunity is perfect. If it's good, you're learning, you're growing, have a goal to be more to be there for a year, more than a year, to grow. There's something great in organic growth. It's better for you to stay in a company and grow through the positions, other than you reach the second level in this company, then you go to another company, second level. Sticking it through, organic growth, resilience. I think that's something that we really lack in our generation.
Lovely. I want to touch on something you're quite passionate about, and I as well, also what we do at Zuriel, which is youth empowerment. What does youth, just a term coined, because I feel like that term is thrown around quite a lot, and it's used, in my opinion, that is, wrongfully in some cases. What does youth empowerment mean to you?
Okay, what youth empowerment means to me is supporting youth and giving them the right information for them to excel, for them to be the best version of themselves. That's the simplest way I can explain youth empowerment.
Yeah, lovely. And I couldn't phrase it any better as well. And I want to know, personally, I believe that youth empowerment is something that we've really been pushing. Let me just talk about Kenya. We've really been pushing this agenda, youth empowerment, which is obviously good, because they are the future. We are the future leaders of tomorrow at the end of the day. In your opinion, do you feel like the youth are more empowered today versus 10 years ago?
Honestly, I really feel that
Yeah.
youths have been empowered now more than
Mm.
before. And I think a big aspect is something that you're really passionate about, which is because of the digital space.
Yes.
Yeah, we have so much information on our fingertips, so much
Yeah.
information on our fingertips. And I honestly feel organizations and the government
Yeah.
has tried to do some great things to empower youths. And I think maybe some people will sneer when they hear that, because I think we are so
Mm.
used to hearing the negative narrative of this is not happening, this is not happening. But
Yes.
honestly, so far a lot has happened. The private
Yes.
sector has tried to empower youth, the government has tried to empower youth. There are so many online courses. And for me, Emmanuel, I feel the gap that is greater is the willingness and commitment for the youth to actually be empowered, especially for us who are, for each of us who's watching this podcast. It means that you're privileged. You're privileged in that you have a
Mm.
smartphone or laptop. You're privileged in that you can afford bundles. Honestly, probably you don't have worries that other people in third world countries have, of where will I sleep today. Yeah, you're
Mm.
privileged. And the fact that you're watching or listening to this podcast means that you have a lot of access to the internet. And there's so many online courses, but I think we waste too much time on social media. We waste too much time on social
Mhm.
media, and social media
Yes.
is impactful. It's a great tool to grow, but then everything that is overdone becomes poisonous. Yeah. And I think if we timed the time, if we timed ourselves on social media, and
Yeah.
come up with boundaries on when we'll be on social media, so that we can use that time to do a free course. Like Harvard gives free courses. There are free courses for Harvard. There are free
Yes.
courses for Cambridge University. There are free courses everywhere. So I think it's the gap right now is the youths. How are we using our time to actually embrace the
Mm.
opportunities that are out there?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
That's a very well-rounded answer, looking at it from both sides, because I hear it. Most of the perspectives you'll hear is, you know what? There's not much that's being done. More needs to be done. There's always this mindset that there's always more needs to be done, but we never actually look at ourselves as youth and say, you know what do we need to be doing? And I like that nowadays the youths are using the different platforms, at least from what I see, platforms such as Instagram, where they have different, what do you call them? Different pages that support certain causes. Such things where you as a youth take the responsibility to empower yourselves, and not just looking for, due to lack of a better term, a savior to now drag you out from that situation. And I like how you really just put it very boldly, and actually understood that it might come with some criticism, which is wrongfully as well, in my opinion. That if you're able to watch this and if you're able to be listening to this at this point, chances are you have the ability to learn a course on how to manage your finances well. Right? You don't need someone to teach you that in university. You can just go online and learn that. Not to say that it's your responsibility. Not to say that the university is not wrong to is not to say that the university shouldn't be teaching you that, but you have the opportunity to be doing that for yourself at the end of the day. And yeah, really love those points. In my previous episode, episode 15, that is, I had Ruth Mbugwa on the show, and we talked about the effects of social media, both negative and positive. And I liked how you talked about the aspect of having a timer in terms of you're restricting yourself to how long you get on social. Now, one thing we tackled was advice to parents. And my take on it was you cannot really blame social media for every single wrong that's happening. Yes, peer pressure happens because of social media. Yes, someone may feel like they're left out because someone is being, is being influenced in the wrong way or being bullied here and there. But our take, or how we looked at it was, if you simply blame social media and don't really provide another alternative to the problem, you're almost leaving this child helpless. That advice is almost counterintuitive. You still feel, okay, social media is all I know, but you're telling me it's wrong for me. That is. Now, do you feel, or rather, what would be your advice to parents who are, raising up Generation Z, children in this generation, to effectively have their children thrive within the social space? What advice would you give to a parent who's raising their child within the digital space, that is?
Okay, so before I get to the parent, let me
Go
begin
ahead.
with the youth, because I
Go
think
ahead.
a lot of responsibility lies on us. Like, our parents are not gods; they are not omnipotent to be checking on us all the time. And I'm pretty sure one of the things you covered with, I think you said Ruth Mbogwa.
Yes.
In the last episode is definitely, I think,
Last two episodes, yes. The
or the last
previous two episodes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure you covered about the effects of social media. And I think all of us, we are able to empower ourselves and draw a boundary when we really understand the effects. Because definitely, just to mention how the research shows that over the past more than 6 years, definitely the suicide rates have really gone high. And the only thing that the experts could see that was going concurrent with that highness was social media. So definitely, there's the good part of social media.
Yes.
And on the other hand, if you overuse social media, that is, if you use social media more often than you should, it increases feelings of inadequacy, increases feelings of dissatisfaction and isolation. And in turn, these things negatively affect your mood and worsen symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress, So having that knowledge should help you be empowered to set boundaries for yourself as a youth, you yourself, because it begins with us. And I'll give you my personal example. There's a time I realized I'm wasting too much time on FB. Me, I'm more of an FB person. I don't know. I like FB more than IG and the others. So, and how I knew that is I went to the settings. There's how you can go to the settings and see the amount of time you use on Facebook, like on average in a week. And for me, maybe to other people here, it will be on the lower side. But I realized I was using an hour, and I was like, what am I doing on social media for an hour every day, an hour? And I was like, really? But then, and for many people, actually, research shows that many people even use more than 3 hours per day on social media. That's really bad. So what I did, I set a reminder. You can go to the settings on Facebook, on IG, and you set a reminder after several minutes pass. So the healthy time limit for social media is at most 30 minutes a day. At most 30 minutes a day. And I think so that becomes more confusing because you're wondering, you want, okay, there are so many platforms. I'm like, how do people keep up with all these platforms? There are so many platforms. Imagine you don't need all those platforms to thrive. Imagine choose your 2 or 3 platforms that you will be active on, and know 30 minutes a day and manage your time. Have the discipline. After the 30 minutes, you click the middle button on your phone to leave. Not like going back. When you click at you're going back, it keeps on refreshing your search. Click the middle button or press that button
go
on
out
the
completely.
phone. You go off completely. Discipline. Okay. Then now to parents, I'm not an expert. But even before I go to parents, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about the youth. Thing is, reality of life is, Emmanuel, you are where you are right now because of the decisions that you made yesterday.
Yes.
And the decisions you made a month ago and 12 months ago and a few years ago. You are where you are now because of those decisions. And those decisions include the 1 minute, the 2 minutes, the time that we spend for 5 minutes, for those 30 minutes, for the 2 hours you spent on social media, and you'd have used it differently to do something more beneficial. It will determine where you'll end up in 1 year, in 2 years. So really, we really need to be so serious about these things. So going to the parents, I'm not an expert in parents, but with
Yeah.
parents definitely. My kids are young, but then I would say definitely it's our responsibility to seek information and knowledge. We've been blessed with people who are experts in these things, controlling the digital space when it comes to impacting our children when it comes to the digital space. And there
Yeah.
are different, I've seen different online forums happening about that. And I think now it's for us to really seek that information from the experts. And I'm saying this because we do not usually have the culture of learning. You know, we go to school to study about our career, but we don't seek knowledge about how to choose our life partner, how to choose, how to parent. You know, these things that are so crucial, and actually
Yeah.
that can even be more important than our career. So it's for us to cultivate that culture of seeking knowledge about these things, and we'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I like that you point out that as much as social is has a negative aspects as well as a positive aspects at the end of the day. Are you familiar with the show? It sounds like you are. They really mapped it out very well. The show Social Dilemma.
I've seen it, but I've not watched it.
Okay, no problem, no
I've
problem.
seen,
Because
I've
I'm
seen
telling you,
conversations.
yeah,
Actually, that I got interest when I
right,
actually saw you posting on LinkedIn about it. So
right.
I'm sorry, I won't comment.
No, no, no.
I've not watched it.
I'm telling you, you literally attacked the show spot on. I almost thought, okay, she actually sounds like she's watched it. But yeah, I think
Oh,
yeah, I think you'll really enjoy the show. But just from a biased point of view at the end of the day.
oh,
Yeah,
great.
just based off your feedback of the answer. So
Yeah.
yeah, just to wrap this up and to get into the final question of the day, I'd like to know if you had the opportunity to sit down with 20-year-old Hope, what advice would you give her? If you're able to give her a phone call or simply travel back in time to talk with her.
Yes, I think that's a very, very deep
Yes, yes, yes,
question.
yes.
Yeah, for me, I'll be honest, and I think I'm a bit open about the mistakes that I did before. And I've
Mm.
also mentioned that when you follow me on Facebook, especially on Facebook and Instagram, I'm quite open about
Yes,
what I've gone through before for people to learn. And to
yes.
be honest, I think the greatest mistake I learned when I was 20 and in my early 20s is in terms of relationships. Yeah, I made wrong decisions when it came to my relationship. So if I would call Hope right now, the 20-year-old Hope, and now I'm 29 years old, I tell her, in terms of responding to red flags, honestly, I wasn't wise in responding to red flags in my
Mm.
relationship. So this is what I tell my 20-year-old Hope: when someone shows you who they are, believe it. When someone shows you who they are, believe it. A leopard does not change its spots. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, lovely, lovely advice. And I really appreciate you for sharing. And also, personally, to answer that question, the first time I was asked, it took me much, much longer to answer compared to how you did. And also, I thank you for also bringing that out because I feel like a lot of people within also the space and generation we're in will really find a great deal of value with that piece of advice. Really appreciate you for sharing that with us. Thank you very much.
Great.
Right.
Thank you, man.
All right. So now the very, very final and last question now completely. Did you have fun?
In this show.
Yes, yes.
Oh, great. Yeah. I had fun. You are a fantastic moderator,
Thank you
Emmanuel.
very much.
You're fantastic. I had fun. And also especially that I'm more biased about youth matters, youth
Yes,
empowerment.
yes.
And I applaud you for beginning this, Emmanuel, and having this show. It needs resilience and grit. So we applaud you for that. Even for the listeners, this is time well spent. When you're in this show and you hear other people's insights, you're not reinventing the wheel. You are learning. It's one of the fastest ways to learn and grow. So I also applaud the listeners and people who watch this show.
Thank you very much. It means a lot to me, once again, sharing your story, giving advice to people who would really relate with a lot of the your backstory and how you raise up to where you are at the moment.
Hmm.
So, if there's anything else, oh, one more thing. How can the people get in touch with you, with your social channels, that is?
Great. So on Facebook, I'm Hope Muturi. On
Yes.
Instagram, Hope Muturi. On Twitter, Hope Muturi. I think I'm only in those three. There are so many other platforms that no, yeah. So Facebook,
Right.
IG, yeah, Twitter, Hope Muturi.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you, Ruth. Hope, sorry, hope I'm thinking about Ruth. You
Yeah.
just talked about Ruth.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hope, for yeah. Thank you so much for making time to be on the show. It means a lot to us, and for the listeners, it means a lot to us that you made it all the way until the end of the show. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe at the bottom, turn on those post notifications for future episodes. This has been episode 17 of the Zuriel podcast. See you soon. May God bless you all. Goodbye.